Weekly update for Friday, April 26th. And we're going to get real quick to what was promised last week, which is the inking on green Dante. Here's the theory behind comic book inking, photorealism style, and few tips for people if there's anybody out there still using a brush and pen and India ink. I hope this is of use to you, and we'll get to that right away. Okay, and working on the green Dante, green Virgil cover, going to be trying to ink Dante first, because I've already got 8 of his strips written. There's going to be three groups of strips in there, 8 for green Dante, 8 for green Virgil, and 8 for Cerebus, the Twitter junkie. And the theory for our cover is going to be that Cerebus's phone is the light source, which is reversing what I've already penciled on Cerebus, because I was copying Neil's lighting on the Speedy figure on the cover of Green Lantern Green Arrow number 85, and going to be using the same patterns but just inking on the other side. And that's really the theory of inking is where is our light source? Our light source is down here in Cerebus's hand, which means all of the light is streaming out of there, which means green Dante is lit from below. Going a little closer here. So that means that all of the shadows are basically streaming upwards from the outline. And inking is really just spontaneity. It's doing something that's incredibly difficult and doing it as coordinatedly as possible, and making it look like a whole lot of fun, so everybody looks at it and goes, gee, I want to do that. No, you think you want to do that. It's actually excruciating. But here we go. And I'm going to be starting with a, where is it? There it is, a square-headed brush. Not too narrow, not too thick, just to put in the larger areas of solid black. And you want to test it on a test sheet first to make sure that when you actually get onto the artwork, it's making exactly the brush strokes that you want it to. And brushes all by look. You're not going to be able to tell by the touch what the brush is doing. So you have to look at what the brush is doing and say, okay, I know exactly how much ink is on there, and how smoothly it's going to go on there. Keeping my fingers crossed. And here we are, theoretically ready to go. The nice thing about the blunt head is that you can do different thicknesses. If you turn it to the side, then it's making a thinner brush line. And then if you want a thicker brush stroke, you turn it to the square side. Thinner brush stroke, just like that. And it's smooth, it's like ice skating. You can't really bear down on it. You have to just say, I'm going to go whomping in there and put in my major brush strokes. Smooth. This is the shadow of green Dante's hand. So it has to look exactly like the hand itself, except in black. Again, trying to keep everything as smooth as possible. I haven't done this in a while, so I will be probably cleaning it up with pen lines on the outside. Doesn't that look like fun? That's the idea. It's supposed to look like fun until you try and do it and go, this is the exact opposite of fun. Because you got to just dive in and do it and go, I sure hope my hand doesn't suddenly jump around, because I'm never going to get that ink off of there. And this is the shadow of green Dante's face. Distorted because the shadow is the furthest away from the light source as opposed to his actual features. And we'll put in the shoulder with what we hope is a couple of smooth strokes. Fold in the clothing, fold in the clothing. Thicker fold, further away from the light. Move further along and you can see it starting to take shape. Once you've put in all of the thicker areas of black, which I'm now getting to the point where most of those are in here now. Even from a distance, you can see exactly what the figure is supposed to look like, which is the idea that you can see from the artwork. The combination of the really dark areas, the really thick areas of solid black, what the contour is, and what the shape of everything is, and where the light's coming from. And then you can go in and start doing more of the subtle effects. And at this stage, it's a good idea to just sit and look at what you've done so far, and make sure you're not going too far. Don't put too many brush strokes on, but look at it and say, okay, where do I absolutely need a brush stroke at this point? And let's make it a really attractive brush stroke if we can. And I'm going to say right here where Dante's robe is open. Okay, that's good. Might expand that just at the top here, put in an actual fold in the flesh. Okay, that sort of snaps the face forward, and that's always what you're trying to do in inking as well. How can you bring critical elements forward? And that's a good example. And I'm going to put in a couple of brush strokes on the laurel leaves over here, shaded on the top side because of the light source. And getting pretty close to, now that'll do it. Don't overdo it. As I used to say to Gerhard, if it's done, don't finish it. Top of the finger. Maybe another little bit in here so that we can see that there are 4 fingers. And I think that will about do it. Okay, and that'll do it for the weekly update this week. Next week we will get to the fine-tuned inking, God willing, on Green Dante. And just wanted to mention that the Postcard from Hell #1, with its snazzy plastic sleeve and its backing board. This one doesn't have a backing board with it. They all went out on April 16th. So if you're anywhere in North America and you ordered a Postcard from Hell #1 and you haven't gotten it by the time you're hearing my voice and watching the weekly update, definitely get in contact with Sean Robinson. The international, they'll take a while longer. They'll say, let's leave that another week or two. But all of the Postcards from Hell #1 have gone out and have been in the mail for about 7 or 8 business days so far. And keep your eyes open, because that means Postcard from Hell #2 is on its way. And thanks for joining us. I hope we'll see a bunch of you next week for the weekly update, May 3rd.